there, bracket.
Offering a trip to Antarctica based on a sponsor paying up the money to take me there. I mean, there's 30k on the line from a sponsor, apparently.
Well, there's no apparently about it. I've got the email right here. Now, I've redacted the sender's name for obvious reasons, but he says, "Hey, Will Duffy, how are you doing? I'm into FE topics since a long time. Straight to the topic, I want to pay full expenses of Nathan Oakley for the Antarctica trip, even if it goes as high as $50,000. I watched his debates a few years back many times. If he says yes, just let me know. I'm all in for it and I'll sponsor it without a second thought. Thanks." So, yeah, there's no apparently about it, Nathan. Somebody wants to pay for you to attend the final experiment.
Why don't you come on the channel and ask Nathan personally?
What's the relevance? All right.
I don't know.
Just because somebody wants Nathan to go, somebody who's willing to pay for it, does that mean Nathan has to go?
No.
Can he give you the money and you consider it?
And isn't this guy making money off of this video?
Was that sensual goat? Say that again.
Can he give you the 50k and then you just consider it for him?
Yeah. Nathan, you there? Wake up. Shit. You're on mute.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
Out of their own pocket. That leaves me with one question.
It leaves me with a number of questions. Who blew the friggin' shotgun holes in your ears? That's the question I got.
Are you man enough for it, Nathan?
Oh, here we go. Man enough. Yeah. We're going to go to the second grade playground. Okay. I could go there.
No, but I have now called the guy inviting me a fraud.
Please subscribe. Okay, so calling someone a fraud is a pretty serious accusation.
Yeah, Will Duffy, he's a fraud.
It's a pretty serious accusation.
What's that?
It's a pretty serious accusation. What is it?
You can't take the Welsh. You can't take the piss out the Welsh, will you?
Oh, it's very potty, isn't he?
I was a half a step away. You're lucky I caught this late last night from going live. Yeah, but I don't know if I want to go do a treatment on him without you guys, because this is fucking hilarious. I can't do him justice without you guys. I thought he was Irish.
Absolutely not.
He needs money for sheep.
I call him Crackhead Creaky.
Factor in that the person doing the accusing is a flat earther whose entire living depends on lying to people about the shape of the earth.
Really? How does he do that?
Right. Exactly. What lies has he actually told?
As evidenced by?
So he's now accusing Nathan of being fraudulent.
Yeah.
It's a very serious accusation. It's into West Indian, doesn't it, Welsh?
Yeah, legally he could. Nathan could actually pull him on that. Nathan can't be pulled off for calling Duffy a fraud because he has fraudulently used the word experiment. But he has just accused Nathan of being a liar because he's a flat earther.
Yep. If you wanted to get into some legal wrangle dangle, I mean, I find it shithouse lawyery, but I guess you have a point.
Now, we've all heard Oakley talking about the final experiment.
Oh, wait a second. You forgot to support what you said about Nathan lying. You forget about that.
No, Alternatively, what he chose to do instead was mention Will Duffy's fraudulent experiment, that it isn't making him a fraud.
Yeah.
And he keeps referencing a guy called Robert Shortman, who apparently...
Put those meat hooks down before I slap you, you happy sissy. What are you, wits it?
Spent over a year working in Antarctica as a plumber and says he didn't see the sun stay in the sky for 24 hours. Now, we'll get to Robert a little bit later in this video, but first I thought we should take a look at Nathan's video called Will Duffy Get Oakley's Help Committing Fraud to see exactly what his problem is with the final experiment and with Will Duffy himself. I mean, it couldn't possibly be because Nathan knows that come December, his grift will be ending.
It's over for you in December, flirpers.
But
For whatever reason,
Oh, sorry, that was you talking.
the final experiment has gained a certain degree of traction.
yeah, and that's because normal people are really interested in the observation itself.
Define normal people. And are you one of them?
And before you say the final experiment isn't an experiment, which
Yeah, it isn't.
completely baffles me,
Well, because you're a fucking
Oh, dear.
moron that doesn't know what natural science is. Simple. Clown.
an observation is
Observation is not an experiment. If that were the case, everyone that can open up their fucking eyes from infancy to old age is performing experiments every fucking second. You glue sniffing fungus muncher. You're a crackhead.
an essential part of an experiment.
Oh, really? That's a fucking composition fallacy. We ain't talking about parts of the experiment. We're talking about the full experiment. Clown, dumb fuck.
Without an observation, then there is no experiment.
Well, without the hypothesis, there is no experiment either. So what's the hypothesis, dumb fuck?
Just one more interjection there. I've repeatedly asked Will Duffy personally when he's been contacting me via the messaging service on YouTube for his independent and dependent variable.
Yep.
He hasn't given it me. As
Yes,
a
sir.
result of him not giving it me, I've called him a fraud because he is.
Did you
Is it
hear
called
that?
the-
Did you hear that, crackhead? Composition fallacy, number one. Number two, you'd fail fifth grade general science. Number three, you're a fucking idiot. Go ahead, Brian.
Sorry, is it called the final observation or is it being called the final experiment?
Hold
It's-
on a second. I got a call.
It's fraudulently being called the final experiment when it's merely an observation.
Well, what is it? Have you observed it yet?
No, it hasn't got a phenomena yet. In an experiment,
Yeah.
you'd first have to, at step one, observe the natural phenomena. They're going down to see if there is a phenomena at all, and calling the verification of whether or not a phenomena exists an experiment. That's fraud. Just to make that clear, that is fraud.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm back.
At all.
And as that is the case with people endeavouring to call others shills based on their conclusions, there's no need.
Oh, so there's no need to call other flat earthers shells, and I can only assume you're talking about Jaron, but it's perfectly fine to call the person who organised the final experiment a fraud.
Yeah, he is a fraud because of the experiment part. I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg, but just that, he's a fraud. End of. Dumbass. And what does friggin' Hanoi Jaron have to do with any of this?
Even though you have absolutely no way to back up your claim.
Yeah, we do. Well, in fact, we just did. And you have no way to back up your claims that he's lying because you didn't provide any. It was just baseless assertion fallacy because you're a village fucking idiot.
Did Nathan not back up his claim in the video that he's responding to?
Yeah, he hasn't played that though.
Yeah, he's saying he hasn't backed up his claim. The actual backing of it is in the video that you're claiming to respond to.
My phone, you cunt.
You need to explain why it's a fraud, Nathan.
He already did. You're just not playing it. Did you cherry pick that video? You wouldn't do that. You, an upstanding young man of the Baltard community, would you?
Not just say it is.
Say it is. What do you want us to do? Other than saying it.
Let's just break down what actually is going on with the final experiment.
Awesome, yeah, let's do that.
The whole point of the final experiment is to mask an antipodal assumption?
No, it's not. The final experiment is a way to finally settle the debate over the shape of the Earth once.
There's no debate over the shape of the Earth. The debates don't take into account shapes. Debates occur with subjective topics like animal rights, gun control, whose favorite color is the best, subjective topics. There are no debates over objective topics like silicon, diabetic ketoacidosis. You don't hear debates on objective topics. Why? Because it's a non sequitur category error, you glue-sniffing crackhead.
And how is an observation? How is an observation of something in the sky a geometric verification?
It isn't. It's called, I'll just repeat it as I said it in the video he's responding to and hand waving. It's an antipodal assumption, aka begging the question fallacy.
Flat earthers have said for 10
Stereotype fallacy.
years that there's no 24-hour sun in Antarctica.
I am a flat earther, and I have never said that in my life. That's why stereotypes are fallacies. Nathan, you're a young man here. You got hair.
Hang on. Nathan, have you ever said that there isn't a 24-hour sun in Antarctica?
Oh, it's about to quote me. I'll say it here, won't I?
Well,
We do not have a 24-hour sun in the south.
He just said it.
Well, I don't remember ever saying that there wasn't a 24-hour sun in the south, but I have said that I haven't seen any evidence that there is. So that's two flat earthers that didn't actually say it.
Yeah, that's why stereotypes are fallacies.
24-hour sun in Antarctica doesn't work on a flat Earth. On a flat Earth, you can't have a 24-hour sun, a midnight
Man,
sun
I look old in
Antarctica.
these clips.
And I told-
Do I not look old now, eh?
Yep, you do.
All I'd like
Fully
to
agree.
Au contraire, gentlemen, you can have 24-hour sun. Chinook sun system on a flat Earth will allow this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In the flat Earth model, we say there isn't a 24-hour.
You're lucky because I hadn't talked to you then. It wouldn't matter anyway. You see what you said? The model again? But
Wait, did you want to jump in your DeLorean and have a go at me 10 years ago?
Yeah, I'm going to grandfather this shit in and pummel it.
Well, you are. That's what you are doing.
Can't we just
Person in the
focus on how
south.
badly he's aged instead of just picking up on things we'd have all misspoke back then?
Can
Yeah,
we
we
what?
can- let's talk about how handsome I
Did
am.
Adam just admit to saying there's models and there's no 24-hour sun in Antarctica? 10 years ago.
You can't tell this was 10 years ago. I look the same now.
I don't think so.
And there isn't.
There is no midnight sun in Antarctica.
Because a 24-hour sun in Antarctica does not work on a flat Earth.
Really? Joe. Guess we're not going to get any of that.
And they've also said that a 24-hour sun in Antarctica would prove the globe. So
Hey, that's another stereotype fallacy. I never
Right.
said that.
No, I didn't either.
There you go. There's
I
two
never
flat
said that
earthers.
either.
There's three. So now it's come to the point, come to the head. Like I said before, this is why stereotypes are fallacious. You get it? Crackhead.
So the final experiment is headed to Antarctica.
Not an experiment. Didn't we already go over this? Even Duffy changed the name to Expedition.
With both flat earthers and globe earthers to see whether or not there's a 24-hour sun and put this stupid debate to bed once and
Stupid debate. It's not a debate. The only stupidity is from you.
for all.
What does that mean? It means that
Hang on a second. I still think that Duffy knows something that he's not telling other people.
That's fine. Don't really care.
I'm looking forward to December 24th. I'll put it that way.
Me too.
It's
for
going to be
them
epic.
to suggest that they're proving a ball they must first assume they're on a ball.
Yeah, but that isn't what the final experiment is. Look, let me
Not an experiment. That's the fraud, the final fraud.
simplify it because it is very, very straightforward.
Let you simplify it. You couldn't teach the bionic woman hearing if you chained her to the back of a dump truck and drug her through a nitroglycerin plant. You're a big crackhead.
Have you seen this already? Have you seen this?
Say it.
Have you watched this already? I haven't obviously watched this, but don't answer me. I'm going to guess that he now does beg the question.
No, what
Flat
he's doing
earthers
now
say that
is he's going to bully you into having to accept his affirming the consequence. That's just what he's. Or you're stupid. Can't you see how clear and obvious my affirming the consequence is? That's what I'm getting that vibe.
simplify it because it is very, very straightforward. Flat earthers say there is no 24-hour sun and
Stereotype fallacy. Again, each instance.
Antarctica. Globe earthers say there is.
There
and
is.
Will
Stop,
had
stop.
the idea.
Sorry, globe earthers. There's your begging the question antipodal assumption, you crackhead.
To take us all so that we could see for ourselves which one of us has been right all along.
So which assumption of the ball earth that I suggested was an antipodal assumption, you're going to check which one's right, which one of those two choices, what the antipodal assumption you're denying. No, you've got to assume you're on a ball. The way you justified it was by saying ballers will. Yeah, that's the antipodal assumption, you stupid idiot.
I say everyone, obviously, I don't mean every flat earth debunker and every flat earther that uploads to YouTube. I know flat earthers seem to think that Will is some secret Scrooge McDuck character.
No, he's retarded. I've done a couple treatments on him already with Witsit Boy Zero to Sky Grifter.
And just for clarity,
the boy's retarded.
Just for clarity, I didn't call him a Scrooge McDuck. I called him a fraud because he's claiming an experiment when he's got a potential observation of a phenomenon.
Yes, sir.
But I'm sure even he's not rich enough for that.
Would you consider it a social experiment to see, which flat earthers are gullible enough to believe that looking up at the sun is going to prove anything beneath your feet?
How these flat earthers see that every time they discredit one of their own, like this guy just did then, it's just adding an extra nail into the flat earth coffin?
What?
No.
Which was our own? What's he talking about?
He's talking about the clip there from, I think it was Sensual Goat or someone speaking, or it wasn't, but someone in America speaking to Nathan there on the show about a week ago. No, this is the big hand wave. Why, which of them was trying to allude to this without actually alluding to it with Duffy? It's like you're trying to hand a wave away. These people are trying to hand wave away 10 years of destruction. 10 years of no evidence of Earth curve. 10 years of measuring it flat, the only way you can describe it as a horizontal stationary plane. 10 years of no way of being able to deal with gas pressure without a container. And you're trying to tell me that you're going to go and see an observation in the sky and that's going to, we're all supposed to just go after 10 years. Forget about all the other stuff. No way. It's just that this is what they want you to do. They want you to accept their hand wave. That's what they're looking for you to do.
It's just introduced the appeal to consensus.
Get closer to your mic.
Be even more right if more flat earthers argue with each other. It'll make it more bally.
Instead of trying to discredit people who've agreed to go, try and debunk the final experiment.
You're already dead. It's not an experiment. It's a fraud. It's already over. You're a doofus.
That's not the debunk yet. We have nothing that's been produced. Nobody. The whole point of the thing is to see whether someone will observe this or not. There hasn't even been an observation yet. Debunk.
Yeah.
Debunk what?
Well, we already debunked the experiment part. So that's debunked. Now the actual...
What he's asking us to debunk, let's be clear, because that's part of what he's objecting to in hand-waving. The bit that he's saying we should debunk is the bit that he inserts by antipodal assumption. Globers say it will work, and then what he thinks is a hypothesis is their affirming the consequent fallacy where they've automatically assumed they travel to the bottom of a ball, and then whether or not we see a sun will confirm that. But that's what he's asking me to debunk. And affirming the consequent fallacy with the globers, what the people assuming they're on the bottom of a ball, and their explanation. Yeah, that's the antipodal assumption. I've already objected to it. He's hand-waved it. This is pathetic.
Can't. It's impossible.
What? Impossible! It's not an experiment. You're a doofus, crackhead.
What are you going to go and look at in Antarctica? The sun? Hello? Is that going to prove what's on the ground?
No.
But nobody is claiming that the final experiment is going to prove what's happening on the ground.
Stop.
Not an experiment.
Not an experiment, but also the globers say. So when you say no one's proving it or suggesting it, you did. What the globers say is the people who confirm what I've already called in part of the fraud as the antipodal assumption you hand-waved.
So if it's not going to do that, why are these guys bothering to do it? And
Yeah. So wait, that.
Yeah. Look at him. He's retarded.
Go back 10 seconds, QE, if you don't mind.
But nobody is claiming that the final experiment is going to prove what's happening on the ground.
What's the purpose of it?
Okay.
That's the whole point.
We'll trim that out. So, Duffy, we've just been told by one of your own that you're not claiming this will prove what's going on the ground. Then. Thanks, Creaky. We'll just wrap it up here then, shall we, son?
In fact, it's the exact opposite. The sun, which is what is going to be getting observed, lives in space.
Space? You sure about that?
it lives, does it? It lives in space.
The reification fallacy.
It's the exact opposite.
It's also anthropomorphization.
Yes. Space. And that second law of thermodynamics violation. That's where it's living, crackhead.
And you have to look up to the sky to see.
Are you saying we have to look up to the sky to see the sun? Oh my God, honey! He's cracked the code! Fucking imbecile.
That, and the fact that it's going to stay in that sky for 24 hours terrifies flat earthers.
I'm shaking in my boots right now.
Me too.
In fact.
So is that the standard then? So is there going to be a how terrified flat earthers are meter in Antarctica to prove the ball with then? Because that's the standard, right? We're going down to see how terrified flat earthers are when we see a 24-hour sun down there. What does down there mean? That couldn't be an antipodal assumption. Of course not.
I don't think so. I'm looking forward to it with a little bit of excited trepidation at having all of my made-up ideas proven that we've got a Chinook sun system.
Because if there was any possible way that you could make it work on a flat Earth model, one of
yes, we could
Make it work on a flat Earth model. We got to make it work on a flat Earth model. Can we see that flat Earth model?
So before you get carried away asking for various models, I've already called this in the video he's responding to. He's just not put this into address either. It's a false dichotomy fallacy. And him saying how it won't work on a flat Earth model, this is their claim with antipodal assumptions. Now stacked up by him and not being responded to because it hasn't been played, a false dichotomy fallacy.
Let me just point something out here. This whole thing is about a group of guys going to a place called Antarctica. I don't know what Antarctica is. They don't even know what Antarctica is. It's a place that we're told is an ice island at the bottom of the globe. They're going down, which is pre-assuming antipodal, right, to this place that they actually don't know what it is, to possibly observe something, that's then going to supposedly prove something that they couldn't produce proof for hundreds of years. Are you serious?
you would have done
Oh, they're serious.
that by now, but none of you have.
None of us have what? Let me go back. Let me pull Jay.
No.
What
This is
haven't
no.
we
Let
done,
me explain.
crackhead?
I'll explain. What he's doing is this is a lead into now character assassinate Robert Shortman. So he's just stated nobody's gone down there to confirm anything. Okay, well I've had first-hand testimony from Robert Shortman, but he's about to belittle that or discredit that. So that's why he's saying that.
I've heard the discredit of it, of Robert Shortman. I won't say that until after he says it, in case he's saying he's going to say something different.
All you can do, surely, is just call him a liar. That's all. So this was testimony back in the day. So all you can do now is call Shortman a liar. Surely. Unless you're accusing Nathan that it was a set-up stooge lie. And that.
Well, let him present his case first.
Yeah, I'm curious.
This is post-fraud, by the way, so that this is just it's academic.
Up to the sky to see that, and the fact that it's going to stay in that sky for 24 hours terrifies flat earthers, because if there was any possible way that you could make it work on a flat earth model, one of you would have done that by now.
We have to go into the flat earth model again. We want to see this flat earth model, and what does it mean to work on a flat earth model? That sounds like a pragmatic fallacy to me. Off an imagination. You need to be institutionalized.
Yeah, but none of you have.
Go ahead. Sorry. What is it that has not going to work on the flat earth model that nobody has? What is it? They haven't observed anything.
The thing we've not seen yet, Brian.
Yeah.
Definitely not. How dumb people are is how quickly they recognise that antipodal assumption that's needed for this quasi-experiment. Actually fraud. It's not an experiment. It's fraud.
Oh, crap, yeah, I forgot we were talking about fraud. Thanks for...
You forgot already. That's not surprising. It was only just 2 minutes ago. Yeah, it's fraud. We've demonstrated it. Duh. And you'd fail 5th grade general science. Intro.
Keeping me on topic, Nathan. So, what have we got next?
Are you able to answer the question about 24 hours of light in Antarctica on a...
I've interviewed a guy who's not experienced.
I'd like to go back on that. The 24 hours of light. That's not the issue here, is it, gentlemen?
No,
it's not.
24 hours of the sun visible.
Exactly. Not 24 hours of light in your affirming the consequent formological fallacy, friggin' train wreck pseudoscience experiment. Fraud.
24 hours of light in Antarctica on a...
I've interviewed a guy who's not experienced 24 hours of daylight in Antarctica. He spent 18 months there. Have you ever spoken to anybody ever that's been in Antarctica? Because I spoke to a chap who was a plumber on one of the rigs that's out there and spent 18 months there and categorically stated he didn't experience 24 hours sunlight.
You must mean Robert Shortman, this guy.
Can you give us a bit more clarity to what you saw in terms of the sun?
No, not that guy. That guy's Nathan, a young Nathan, by the way. Not that guy. Crackhead.
And what it did you have 24 hours a day?
From what I could see,
that guy
did the horizon, so it would do an arc rather than a full horizon 360. I don't remember it ever going all the way around. That doesn't come to mind.
So you saw it rise and set, and just once more, just show exactly what you saw it do.
That kind of thing, definitely.
So you can't recall whether the sun did stay in the sky for 24 hours or not, but you can recall the sun doing this, whatever the hell this is. I'm just going to say it. I call bullshit.
So, unless you've been in Antarctica and can top Robert Shortman's personal testimony that doesn't happen.
Now talking about his personal testimony, Robert Shortman wrote in the team's journal entry in September 2003, which is shortly before the 24-hour sun starts in Antarctica, i.e. the Antarctic winter, and in this entry he says, although it was August when we first saw the sun, we are already running out of darkness.
They went back and got his entries? Oh, you get an A for effort.
And?
Oh, it's worse than that. Go on.
Is that it?
Saw the sun, we are already running out of darkness. What could that mean?
I mean, it could mean
Just
he's
hold on a
saying.
second.
I mean, I could potentially paraphrase that into Robert Shortman saying there is 24 hours of sunlight above the horizon, but that's not what it said. I mean, I could interpret it as anything I like, but that's what it actually said.
I heard it stated recently on someone's video. Can't remember where. It was only recent, actually. I might have posted whatever video it was in Master B. I posted a lot of things in Master B. Everyone ignores them. Anyway.
Oh, here we go.
Well, it is the truth. Someone else posted the same video a year and a half later, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's so great." Anyway, someone states that while Robert Shortman was there, someone else wrote into the journal or whatever. It's the same thing he's talking about there. Some other person who outranked Robert Shortman wrote in that there was a 24-hour sun, supposedly. Now, why would someone even be writing that in? Let's say there is always a 24-hour sun every year in Antarctica. Why would you feel the need to write that in to a journal? What has that got to do with your daily work? You know, that's like being in a submarine or a ship and writing in the water was wet today. You know what I mean? If it's a continuous yearly experience, you're not going to write it in. Who goes up to the Arctic and starts writing in, you know, there's a 24-hour sun? No one, why, yeah, we know it's the Arctic. So supposedly some other guy wrote in something, someone who supposedly outranks him, wrote in that there was a 24-hour sun. And this is during Robert Shortman's time there.
Okay, let's just take it as read that that's actually what was written and what was said. Let's take this hypothetical into a permanent, let's say it was said. Does that mean that when the person wrote it, having travelled to Antarctica, that they arrived in Antarctica Antipodal from the north where they began their journey, hypothetically? No. It literally means nothing.
2 months later, the doctor of their team, Gavin Francis, who Robert also mentions in his journal entries, wrote the journal entry for the team on that Sunday, which was the 23rd, and said there was a solar eclipse, the first one ever witnessed in Antarctica. We have had 24-hour sunlight for several weeks now, so...
There you go.
Okay. And that confirms our antipodal position on the bottom of a ball, does it?
It's also not the claim.
24 hours of sunlight isn't 24 hours of sun above the horizon. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
To me, that's listen, if that was a real thing, sorry, Adam, you go, I go after this.
So that has been demonstrated and accepted for a while. Ushuaia, for example. But you don't see the sun. This is the trouble. You do get, prolonged periods of 24-hour sunlight, but you still don't see the equivalent. See, Ushuaia is like as far south as you can go, and it's equivalent to where you where you do see in opposite latitudes in the north, where you do see the 24-hour sun. But all that's ever been shown is that claim there, and that's not in dispute.
Yeah, but I'm fine to take it as read. No, even though that is... I appreciate the ambiguity that you've drawn clarity for, but I'm happy to take it to the antithesis of that and say, no, this does say this man did unequivocally see the sun above the horizon for all 24 hours for several weeks now. Let's just take it that it means that. Okay? And does that affirm our antipodal assumption that the globers make, end quote, Creaky?
No.
Okay. Okay, can I say something? I don't know if it's the right term is category error, but there is no 24 hours sunlight. The term is daylight. That's the problem. They throw that sun as that noun with that light as that noun and try to make it seem like an object in the sky that they see. All they see is daylight, not a sun over horizon, not a sun at a distance, not a sun above their head, not a sun setting or rising.
Okay. We get it.
Yeah, I want to say something here. This is 2024, and I've never seen this up until very recently, in the past 5 days. So I'm around since 2015. There's other people like Betty are around since 2014. How come I've never seen this entry before? I can't say it's false, but it's very strange. Come on.
Who cares? It
Yeah, who cares?
doesn't support the claim.
It's not about the support of the claim. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this sudden entry that turned up. It's like, how come no one produced that 9-10 years ago?
Because no one searched for it. So it's a non-issue.
Yeah, let's move on.
Can I just say,
the fake would need it.
It does indicate that they're looking at the sun because they're in the middle of the night and they're watching the sun in eclipse.
No, it doesn't. You can conflate the two statements, but they're separate.
Well, if the same eclipse, they're going to need a sun in the sky. Go on, sorry, Twig.
On Sunday the 23rd, there was a solar eclipse, the first one ever to be witnessed. Doesn't make no mention of the time of when that eclipse occurred. Yeah. We have had 24-hour sunlight for several weeks now.
It does say, though, although the eclipse was in the middle of the night,
sorry.
you could see it easily.
My apologies.
Yeah.
It's fully okay.
Just saying.
No, that's
going to make a
point.
difference, but yeah.
Either way, I already said I'm happy to take it as read. Let's carry on.
I'm not. Although
You're not. Go on.
It's not the It's not the definitive statement that the sun is in the sky for 24 hours. And that you would expect.
Yeah, I'm happy to concede that too. The reason I'm saying I'm happy to take it as read, regardless of it not being that, is because it still doesn't refute the antipodal assumption that must be utilised in conjunction with this, whether we take it as read or not.
The eclipse was in the middle of the night. We could.
Oh boy.
I just wanted to point out that two paragraphs down to say, and then on Friday the 28th November, the 28th of November, the twin authors of the British Antarctic Survey made blah blah blah. Look, forget about it.
The winter is now officially over, and from now on, the base will just be getting busier and busier. Okay. Good.
All see it easily. Now, I'm no expert, but doesn't that directly contradict what you just claimed, Nathan?
Before we go on.
Nathan didn't claim it. He asked Robert Shortman.
This subject, because I know there's a dozen, more than a dozen different subjects that we want to go through with you, but yesterday, or the day before yesterday, sorry, you went through sort of comparative differences between what we should experience based on being on a globe in the north versus what you experienced in the south. I mean, without me leading you too much, can you talk us through those differences, or the apparent differences we should experience but don't?
Nathan, you stupid idiot. You stupid idiot, Nathan, from the past, leading him into intentionally go through the false dichotomy on their behalf. What an idiot.
Hang on a second, leading the witness. Oh, hang on.
Yeah, well, he's right. Leading the witness into a false dichotomy on their behalf. Yep. What an idiot that Nathan from the past was.
We're not in court, are we?
I think that with the way the plane that we imagine is, the centre obviously is the North Pole. Everywhere else from that reads south to north and north to south, so you get a bearing from that wherever you go round. And in the centre there's more land mass, and I think by that in general it is warmer in the north than the supposed south. And that's, well, if you look at the edge of it, the sun takes longer to get to there from the middle anyway, so without the islands and without anything being else there, that's why it's so cold compared to the north, where you get, I think it's -40, -50 in the north, and you could get 60, 70, or they've had even 80s plus in the Russian base.
I hate it when that happens. You know, if you're trying to make something up on the spot and your mouth gets all dry.
What the hell are you on about? That little spiel right there had nothing whatsoever to do with anything. Why did you play that? So you can go off what you've conjured in that pea-sized piece of horse shit you got between your ears? You're going to do a psychoanalysis on this shotgun crackhead.
The non sequitur red herring fallacy.
Can I just point out something here? I've gone looking into when does the 24-hour Antarctic sun start, right? I'm getting Quora and other kind of nonsense websites. And then as I go down, and they're all different. Some of them are saying it's like, some of them are saying that they work in Antarctica and it's between January and March you get the 24-hour sun. Other people are saying it's around December 21st you start seeing it, right? Some people are saying that the sun, from September on, the sun rises above the horizon and never sets for 6 months or some nonsense like that. But when it comes to the 24-hour Arctic sun, which just happened to be a question down below there, I got NOAA. Now that would be a very official site, www.noaa.gov. I don't see any www.noaa.gov for the Antarctic. Not a bit strange.
Good point, Brian.
It is. But that's it. That's all you could say. It's a bit questionable.
And you stumble over your words. Yeah, I hate it when that.
Yeah, like most of the ballers do, like every day for the past 8 years. Yeah, we've heard that.
That happens as well, Rob. I have never seen anybody so nervous and uncomfortable on a
argument from incredulity. Just because you've never seen it doesn't mean that that's never happened.
It's also an ad hominem fallacy.
Yep.
live stream in my life, and if you're confident in what you're talking about, and more importantly, if you know what you're talking about, you don't get nervous, you don't stumble over your words like this guy was. The only thing that's missing.
I didn't see any stumbling over his words. I thought he was measured and well thought out. On an irrelevant topic, by the way.
Can I just point out? Sorry. There's two cruising sites down here for cruises. There is AntarcticCruises.com and Oceanwide/Expeditions.com, who are claiming there's a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. Yes, remember that phone call that was made by that American man to a group that runs cruises in Antarctica, or to Antarctica. And that guy wouldn't stand behind the 24-hour sun. You'd have to go to the Arctic, he was saying. The whole thing is, and I have something to show you later. I'll show you all later. When I send it, I'll get you to look at it. It's pretty funny. But I'm just saying that the fraud, like this whole thing, just gets murkier and murkier as time goes on.
Man with a gun being pointed at his head. Rob, why have you let somebody like Nathan Oakley put you in this position?
I know at least a half dozen people who have lived and worked in Antarctica, and their claims would refute your experts.
Excellent.
Yep, excellent. Yep, he just made a claim that he has a bunch of witnesses, right? Excellent. Correct.
Where are they published?
Nathan, I just showed a journal entry.
He wasn't talking to you, Creaky, you crackhead. He was talking to the gentleman online who made a claim that he had many witnesses that he could show.
Yeah, how could he be talking to this guy when this guy is in the future?
No, I should really apologise for that. I'm sorry, Creaky, that I didn't get your future response to my question I wasn't addressing to you. That is my bad.
You're a real crackhead, aren't you? You know what? Instead of using that shotgun to blow that hole through your ears, you should have used it. Oh, never mind.
The same journal that Robert Shortman was filling in, except this time it was one of his colleagues that filled it in, and they stated that they had had sun for weeks.
Really? On Sunday, the 23rd, there was a solar eclipse. So didn't we just go over this? They had 24-hour sunlight. Do you even know what the damn claim is that you're making? Or that the final fraud experiment's making? Not 24-hour sunlight, crackhead. 24 hours of the physical body of the sun.
And
are you retarded?
And how could you have a full moon for the eclipse in the daytime, which is what they are claiming?
I don't know.
Isn't that a bit strange? And they're also saying it's in the middle of the night. I thought there wasn't any night. Seems to be a bit contradictory.
What year was this? On Sunday the 23rd, there was a solar eclipse. What year was? What year was this? I missed it.
I think he stated 2003, something like that.
Okay.
24-hour sun, that is. And that.
No. You're also illiterate. Let's do this again.
Time it was one of his colleagues that filled it in, and they stated that they had had sun for weeks. 24.
Sun. No, sun and sunlight are two different things. Next block of instruction: how to sit down. Then point at a friggin' horse.
I've already kind of. I'm being a bit nitpicky, but I don't like the way this sits. For me, there's an antecedent consequent relationship in the statement sunlight. Now, to me, that would infer that the sun is going to be above the horizon to have the sunlight, as opposed to daylight. Yeah? So, because it's sunlight, I would say that there's an argument to say that this does infer the sun above the horizon, because you can't have sunlight unless the sun is above the horizon. So, again, I'm just going to stand by I say I take this as read, and that it does mean that it is above the horizon. I'm just going to stand by that.
I don't. It's
That's
too
fine.
ambiguous.
I just want my two pennyworth in there, that's all.
All right.
Sunlight.
But I was sun.
Go ahead, Adam. You're going to say the same thing I was going to.
Yeah, sunlight illuminates before sunrise. So you get light before you get the visible sun. So it's still light once the sun's disappeared.
Yes, and you have people that conflate sunlight and daylight. I mean, there's nothing malicious about it. You just say sunlight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing there.
And that is. And that journal entry was made in November, because I'm not sure if I said the date earlier. And Robert wrote in the same journal on the.
Whoa, he wrote in the same journal.
Just at this point, am I missing something, or is this largely, with the exception of the hand wave to the fraud that Will Duffy absolutely, without question, is committing? This is about Robert Shortman, not me. But it's Will Duffy isn't the fraud, Nathan Oakley is, and it's an address to somebody that isn't me. I just wanted to get that on record.
Yep. Yes, you got it.
The British Antarctic Survey's website. Although it was only August when we first saw the sun, we are already running out of darkness.
Didn't we see this already? Oh, crap. Where was I at? Hate when that happens.
I think I've found the eclipse. Is it? No, I've got November the 23rd, 2003.
That's got to be it.
Okay, so I'll just read you a couple of bits that you find interesting. This is from NASA Earth Observatory. Total solar eclipse over Antarctica. Moon cast a long shadow over Antarctica on November the 23rd, 2003. The moon shadow has two parts, fuzzy, umbra, blah, 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 blah. At the time this image was taken, the sun was just rising over Antarctica. Just rising, as in it's just come up, not it's constantly above.
Yeah, and they said it was in the middle of the night.
Well, I've got the times. The times are 22:08 captured the image between 23:15 and 23:20. The eclipse started at 22:08, lasted a little over an hour to 23:20. The sun's eye was completely blocked at 22:49 for 1 minute 55 seconds. the time the image was taken, the sun was just rising over Antarctica. It's nonsensical if you've got a 24-hour sun to make that statement.
Where was that from?
Yeah.
This is earthobservatory.nasa.gov.
So NASA, unlike Robert Shortman's first-hand testimony that they're contrasting, not me as the title would suggest, NASA say in their description that it was just rising. And even in this contradictory description from whoever it is, Robert Shortman, definitely not me, makes it clear that it was in the middle of the night that it happened, which also seems to tally with NASA. But how can there be a middle of the night if you're claiming there's a 24-hour day? So we've got a lot of
how can
conflicts.
the sun be rising in the nighttime?
Well, it can't be, but that's
sorry.
what NASA say. Okay, if you're looking for where you were, QE, you were much further on, like 4/5 of the way into the video, which is where we were.
Okay,
Further.
I was right after Sharpman.
Further.
1 second. Yeah, I know. I'll get it. Let's just go right after Sharpman. There we go.
Stumble over your words. Yeah, I hate it when that happens as well, Rob. I have never seen anybody so nervous and uncomfortable on a live stream in my life. And if you're confident in what you're talking about, and more importantly, if you...
What do you want?
It's been on about 2 more minutes because you've covered all this.
Oh, brother.
There
it is.
I've put that link in. I put that link in Ballbusters.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you, Adam.
I just
have to say, how did they explain a full moon in the daytime for every solar eclipse ever? Because that's what they have to be claiming, isn't it? But no, it's not.
That's true.
Because they have to block it. They have to block it. But in Antarctica, you would be able to see it, would you not? According to their claims. Maybe I'm wrong. I'd have to think about that.
That journal entry was made in November because I'm not sure if I said...
Let me finish reading the rest of the paragraph. At the time the image was taken, the sun was just rising over Antarctica, tinting the mountains a delicate pink, even within the shadow of the eclipse. Beyond the dark upper left corner, the sun has not yet driven away night's darkness. The bluish tones of the snow reveal how Antarctica appears from space without... Yeah, the sun has not yet driven away night's darkness.
Just state again where that reference is from, Adam, please.
So it's from earthobservatory.nasa.gov. Total solar eclipse over Antarctica. Images 1, 2, 4, 8, 8.
Okay, again, while I stand by my statement that I'll take it as read that it did mean in the article apparently written by Robert or his superior or whatever, that it does mean it's above the sun. Above the horizon, sorry. The sun is above the horizon in that statement. While I'm happy to still stand by what I've already said, I'll still make the same point, even if we can debunk that it wasn't above the horizon. It still means nothing. It doesn't prove or disprove a flat Earth with affirming the consequent for a flat Earth map. There you go, QE. And it doesn't affirm the consequent for an antipodal assumption either, with it not being above the horizon. We could, if that was the case based on what NASA say, turn it into a modus tollens, but we're not there yet. We might get to see this phenomenon. We might not. It's still not an experiment, it's still fraud. But now we've got contrasts to something that still doesn't prove antipodal assumptions, regardless of whether or not we take it to mean there was, or take NASA to mean that there wasn't. Still doesn't affirm the consequent.
The date earlier. Robert wrote in the same journal on the British Antarctic Survey's website. Although it was only August when we first saw the sun, we are already running out of darkness.
1 second. This guy said that on the 23rd, isn't there an entry that he's referring to, that on the 23rd of September in 2003, when this solar eclipse happened, that there was 24 hours of sunlight. That was the claim, right? And which they were trying to make into 24 hour sun, right? NASA says that the sun was only rising now in the nighttime. Now maybe they're given the time. I don't know what's going on there. Rising in the nighttime. I don't know what's going on there. But what I looked up online is that the times they're claiming that there is a 24-hour sun in Antarctica are different from September. They're not. They're like December, January, March, January, February kind of stuff. That's the times they're claiming that because there's only a 24-hour sun in the Arctic for 3 months, not for 6 months. So that means that this entry has to be wrong. It has to be fraudulent. Because why would someone write there's 24 hours of sunlight when there isn't at that time of year officially? This is the thing. When I was looking for it, there was conflicting claims, but most of the claims were around December through to February, kind of early March. There was nothing really there for September claiming that there was a 24-hour sun. So this, I know it doesn't matter, but this entry that I never saw for 9 years, heading for 10, it suddenly turns up and it's claiming I suppose a 24-hour sunlight at a time of year when there isn't. Adam just showed with the solar eclipse.
It does say there August, doesn't it? August, nearly running out of daylight. That eclipse was November 23rd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And online
Don't conflate. He's showing two different entries, two different experiences. Don't conflate those.
Yeah. I'm only talking about the 23rd of September one, because that's the one they have it down that they're trying to attack Robert Shortman on. They're trying to say, well, Robert Shortman was there. This guy, who's supposedly a greater guy than Robert Shortman, wrote in that there was 24 hours of sunlight. Sorry, 24 hours of sunlight. That's what it wrote in. Now that's ambiguous because does he mean 24-hour sun or 24-hour daylight? Either way, the point being is that at that time of year, there isn't officially. That's why NASA stated that the sun was rising. Now, they said it's rising at nighttime. I don't know what that's about. But they said the sun is rising. It was just rising when the eclipse happened over Antarctica. But because at that time of year, they're not actually even claiming a 24-hour sun. So that does kind of narrow it down that this entry is a fraud. I know you don't really care, but I kind of do care when.
No, I do. I absolutely get it. I'll summarise it so you know I've taken it on board. You're saying if this is an entry that suggests that Robert Shortman or a superior or whoever says that in September they observed 24-hour sun during the eclipse, yet the official claim is there shouldn't be 24-hour sun when this entry says there is, then that's a massive problem. Now, where have we got the idea that there shouldn't be 24-hour sun at that particular time? Well, NASA say there isn't. So what else can we do other than go, well, okay, yeah, I've had first-hand testimony. This is claimed to be Robert's, or maybe his superiors. I've lost track of who. Regardless, when they're saying, and you're leaning on this as a citation to suggest there is 24-hour sun, there shouldn't be. How'd you square that bleeding circle? And not to mention the fact that it doesn't affirm your antipodal assumption.
Time, and you're too stupid to understand what that does to his credibility.
They published.
Yeah, published? What, like actually prove what I've just claimed, even though I'm a nobody's ever met, and I'm claiming somebody that nobody's met that hasn't met me is actually proof that there's actually a refutation to your claim of a guy who's actually on videotape saying it?
Nathan, you may have Robert Shortman on videotape who's obviously been coached by you to...
Coached? By you, obviously. What do you mean, coached? What the hell does that even mean? That's not what I saw.
It means when I blame Robert Shortman for the words Robert Shortman used, they're actually your crime, Nathan. Because you're coaching him to say them, therefore they're your words. You coached him. Loose, pathetic.
Say whatever the hell you wanted him to say, but his...
You're going to have to prove that. Good luck.
Journal entries tell a very, very different story.
Not a very different story, but a very, very different story. Where's the different story? I may have missed it.
Don't they? And
I don't know. Don't they? Have you shown that? No. You're glue sniffing subscribers. You think you could get over on them with your little theatrics here? You clown of a crackhead. Wow.
Hopefully any flat earthers that stumble across
stereotype fallacy.
This video will now be able to see you for the complete liar you are.
Where did I'm sorry, I missed it. Where was the lie at? Did anyone catch the lie?
No, I didn't. He hasn't produced anything. Actually, we've actually gone through what he's produced, and it seems to be fraudulent.
The only lie was his hairline at the time.
Yeah. You know what I want to find out? Is there a daylight full moon? Are they claiming a full moon in the daytime? Can you see a December full moon and January full moon in Antarctica? If they're claiming a 24-hour sun, can you see a full moon during that time? When it's full, can you see it? Because that would kind of be a bit of a problem for the globe, wouldn't it?
Sorta.
I can easily provide that for you. Are you suggesting that?
Okay, you can easily provide your evidence for your claim. Should be no problem here.
Go on then. Now.
Therefore,
go on then.
Are you suggesting?
Go on then. Let's see it. You said I can easily provide that for you.
Or it's true.
Sorry, are you going to ignore me?
No.
So go on then. Let's see it right now.
Well, he isn't ignoring you, is he?
Yeah, he is. He's definitely ignoring what he's saying. He said he could easily provide it. Nathan said, go on then. Very simple. What are you, like some incoherent Joseph Goebbels now? And you're going to interpret what we just heard and rewrite history? Is that what you're going to do, crackhead? Let's see you do, you numpty dipshit.
Nathan, you were being the pathetic little man-child you all...
How so? He was just asking him to support his claim. Everyone heard it. Idiot.
Always are on your live stream.
Here we go. That's an at-home fallacy.
And you're just talking over him and mooting him.
Dude, mooting it? Did he say moot? Did this clown just say moot?
He did say moot. Mooting him.
Wait a second. We Jedi mind tricked him. Hold on.
Right now.
Well, he isn't ignoring you, is he, Nathan? You were being the pathetic little man-child you always are on your live stream, and you're just talking over him and mooting him.
No. Hold on.
I think it's just the act.
My folks used to live in Wales. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
I think I heard a U in there. I think I did. I think I heard an early U.
Yeah, it's just in there.
Was it? Back we go again.
You always are on your live stream, and you're just talking over him and mooting him.
Send moot.
You'd have to put on the subtitles and
Let's
see.
not dwell on this. Look, there's a bit of there's ambiguity. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. You don't have to. Let's move on.
Every time he tries to open his mouth,
he didn't mute him at all. He asked him to give it to him. It was clear.
Guy is offering to provide you with exact.
Yeah, he was. He made a claim, and now Nathan has said, "Please." It's
the Amber Heard excuse. I pledged to give it. He pledged to give it me, did he? Yeah, we're going to need to see the donation now. But no, he pledged to give it you.
What you just asked for.
I can stutter like a bitch, or you can provide it right now.
Oh, I don't have it with me right.
Oh, so he made a baseless assertion then.
Oh, so me muting him wasn't me calling him out on his complete lie as a glurf scumbag then. Thanks, Creaky. At least you caught this bit and kept it in the edit. Well done.
Yes. How was and Nathan was mooting him? How was I able to hear the man over here confirm his request? How did that? Are you saying he was on mute? I didn't hear him? Let's go back 5 seconds. Let's see if we heard him.
You can stutter like a bitch, or you can provide it right now.
Oh, I don't have it with me right.
Oh, he doesn't have it with him right now. So I didn't hear that because he was on mute, right? Crackhead. You clown of an idiot.
So you can't, you fucking lying scumbag head. So when you said you could provide it quite easily, you're actually fucking lying to us.
Yes.
So you're a fucking liar.
Yes.
So you'd have had my audience believe that you could...
Go ahead.
Yes, he is a scumbag liar. That is confirmed by the fact that he lied about having something he couldn't give us and then got called out on it.
Yep.
But of course, you could spin that Joseph Goebbels styley to say that actually he was getting muted and he didn't get his chance to speak, and it's really the the biased platform that is Flat Earth Debate, not us pointing out that he lied through his back teeth about something he couldn't give us and then was called on it. No, that didn't happen. It was the mute button, of course.
No, the mute button.
Top Robert Shortman's videotape testimony.
One second, please.
Can we also point out that we've got Crackhead Creaky telling us that he has pledged to give us this. That's his current defence of this guy prior to this clip being played. No, he did pledge, confirms Creaky, to give us this information that challenges Robert Shortman in some way, because apparently we've got rows of people lining up to give first-hand testimony that defies Robert Shortman. So given that he doesn't have that, we're now in a situation where, as confirmed by Creaky, he's pledged to give it and hasn't got it. So what do we have? Robert Shortman's first-hand testimony, also now considered to be Nathan's testimony because I've apparently coached him. So we can put this at my door and in the title. That's the situation.
Can I just point out, I put 2 links into Ballbusters in Skype, that on the 15th of December, from the Amundsen Scott, which would be within their claim the 90 degrees south, that station, on the 15th of December, there is a full moon, right? And on the 14th of January, there is a full moon. And on the 13th of February, there is a full moon. Now, well, they haven't said it's visible or not visible, but they're claiming there's a full moon on those dates. How is that possible? A full moon in 24-hour daylight, sunlight, according to them, at that time of year. How would you see a full moon? It was in the heliocentric paradigm. That's impossible. You cannot have a full moon in the daytime. Now, we have video of it, 2 videos. But the point is, you can't have that.
Money of no 24-hour sun, with something that you simply cannot provide?
Yeah, why not? Especially when you consider that his videotape testimony is completely contradicted by his own journal entry.
What?
No, the guy said he'd got lines of people to contradict him there, Creaky, and you pointed out he'd pledged to give me that. That's what was actually dealing with. We weren't dealing with you in the future.
And the journal entries of his colleagues.
I can provide it for you.
Go on then.
Yep, he said he can provide it for you. Okay, go on then.
I know
Let's see it then.
I know people.
Sorry, go on then.
Who have been
Go on then. Go on then.
Scott Bay.
Go on then.
Do you know, I've seen 7-year-old kids who have got better debating skills.
It's not a debating skill right here. A gentleman made the claim, the man made the claim that he had several people that will contradict those claims made about Antarctica. And Nathan said, go on then, provide it.
Yeah, what needs to come next is those people, not him. He's not those several people, so hearing him is perfect justification for me saying go and get the people that you've said you've got, because that's what he's just said. It's like the guy today. If you say you can do something and provide, for example, a quote model, and then we say go on then get it, I don't want to hear another word out of you. This guy, I've got rows of people that will defy Robert Shortman's testimony. Go get them. Well, I've got blah, blah. No, that will get me chanting through him because it's what he's said he's got, and then what? We'll just accept that there's rows of people that would defy Robert Shortman's testimony, but we're going to continue to hear from you. Now I'm going to instantly need that backing, and I'm not going to shut up until I get it. But what? That's me behaving like a 7-year-old. No, that's a man making a baseless assertion and being challenged to fulfill that which he cannot, because he's already confirmed he hasn't got jack. We already know that.
Yep.
Than Nathan Oakley. There's a reason he will only debate people on his own channel.
Was that so? 2 days ago, Creaky, I appeared in person. Now, given that you've just made a baseless assertion and a lie about what I don't do, and I've appeared in person and debated people in person, live, I'd like you to put a bit of pressure on you, maybe yourself, to make a live appearance. And I'll come and heckle you. Oh, I'll heckle you good. Maybe you could encourage Simon Dan to do as I have just recently done and make a live appearance. Do you think you could do that, Creaky? Put a bit of pressure on Dan. Go out in public, maybe make a little appearance, glad hand the locals, debate with people in person. Like I do. What's that? I won't go out of my echo chamber. I'm pretty sure I've spent a good solid 10 minutes arguing with a fundamentalist religious zealot about how lines we measure on the ground aren't the ground. I'm pretty sure I've done that in the last 2 days, son. When did you last go out in public to show your ugly mug in reality? Or do you just need your little echo chamber videos there, Creaky? When you next going to do your public appearance, my son? I'll be sure and come and watch you. And maybe ask you a few questions there, see how you cope.
I'd first ask him spell cat, and I'd spot you the C and the A, you disheveled crackhead. You're a clown of an idiot with a below 5th grade general science acumen.
And it's called the...
Your basic reasoning skills are much, much worse.
The mute button.
We're going back. I'm sorry, Nathan. Listen closely and watch him speak.
He will only debate people on his own channel, and it's called the mute button.
Boom. Put subtitles. Click CC. Click CC, rewind 10 seconds and play again.
Here we go.
Hold on.
He will only debate.
What's that?
Click CC so it gives you the closed captions so we can see what YouTube say about it.
People on his own channel, and it's called the mute button.
It says mod button, but it was going for it. It just needs the other O.
I can't not concede it at this point, can I? Even the interpretation of YouTube's clever translation system has not put a U in there, Adam. I don't know what you've got to say now, but I'm conceding it right here now. He said moot.
he did. I think, and just the way he said it. Adam, are you still here?
Yeah, I had a little phone call there, but yeah, I've just come back to the moot.
What say you, sir?
I think it's a mute point.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, many, many years ago, Timmy Osmond, who was known as Timmy Clown, was conflating moot with mute. And there was a little sidebar that we had behind closed doors between me and Cathexis, who used to be out here on the in the genre with us. And I kept saying, don't tell him the difference, just let him go. And every time that he wanted to say mute button, he would say moot. So we, in turn, for years, have called it the moot button. And it appears that Crackhead Creaky has been listening to our videos when we say, put him on moot. Because he doesn't know the difference between moot and mute. This guy is an idiot retard crackhead, ladies and gentlemen.
Just for the record, right? That's when QE says we Jedi mind tricked him. So when he says that without telling anybody that we're doing it and just going, can you go on moot? Right, it's done in a very over-the-top way so that people go, he definitely, not just a little bit ambiguous, definitely said moot. Yeah, we do. We intentionally say it. That's the Jedi mind trick. Now, this is, however, a moot point. Can we move on?
I just wonder, I put something in Ballbusters. It's a video, because you're just at the end of this video. I sent it to Mitchell. I was going through this stuff with Mitchell some months back. And it's supposedly from Shackleton. It's a video about Shackleton. I have it there. At 30 minutes, played for 20 seconds. This is a lead up to an expedition that was happening that was going to be happening during the Antarctic summer. Listen to what's said. At 30 minutes for 20 seconds.
Can we finish this video first?
Yeah. Just play that afterwards. It's important. Okay.
So perhaps Will Duffy can address my claims of fraud. Not an experiment. Potentially going to observe a phenomena
and then utilise Antipodal begging the question assumptions to suggest that Antarctica's on the bottom of a ball.
I'm sure will address your accusation of fraud in his own sweet time.
Huh? How do you know what Will Duffy's going to do or not going to do, number one? Number two, Will Duffy, the dozy duffer, was there with Boy Zero Skygrifter on an interview when he was challenged by Witsit about this very thing, experiment. And since he doesn't know what an experiment is, that's Will Duffy, he acquiesced and then changed the entire title of the final experiment to the final expedition. They're crackhead.
Recognizing the point that to describe it as an experiment is fraudulent.
Yeah. There you go. Idiot.
See, the problem is, Nathan.
No, the problem is that caper-sized piece of horse shit between your ears and all the theatrics, the Welsh theatrics here. That's the problem here.
Just before you
and
press
you
play.
Jedi mind trick not only yourself, but your dumbass subscribers. Go ahead, Nathan.
Have you got the clip of him acquiescing? Will Duffy, that is.
Yes.
Let's just get to the end of this.
Is that you're nowhere near as important as you seem to think you are.
Oh, hold on. Pause. I mean, that psychologically, why would you bring that up? Why? Does Nathan run around going, I'm really important? No, in your mind, that's something you need to state, little man. So clearly he is living rent-free in your head, isn't he? Because he's not as important. You're not that important. Oh, boy, he's properly in your noggin, isn't he, Welsh boy? Bang tidy.
I'm going to snatch the other video. 1 second. I want to just get it in my queue.
And
I didn't forget about your video.
He's so pleased. I've told him he's not as important as he thinks he is. And look how delighted he is. Oh, well, okay. You could take this as a win, Creaky. You told me, son. Okay, I feel a bit less important than I once thought, according to Creaky. Oh.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Love you, bye.
Oh,
love you, bye.
Love you too.
You need to be institutionalized. Love it. What did you say?
Love you too.
That is a proper reveal at the end. Non sequitur. It's just all about his feelings. You're not as important as you make out, Nathan Oakley. Since I just showed everybody.
And the look at the end. I'm so pleased I told him so.
Yeah, that's how I mean.
Go on, let's hear it.
To be fair, though, he is a true, authentic representation of his paradigm.
Recently, so I don't know what he said recently, but like you know what I'm saying? Like I think I would literally question my ability to discern anything in the world. I would have to shut down everything in my I'm not scared of anything. I don't know him that well, but that it's not technically an experiment. And flat earthers are really, really specific about that word. I actually push back against the typical group that says that, but there is merit in what they're saying. That word is thrown around a lot, as well as science, and that is the primary way we've actually fallen into this problem. And even if you take flat Earth out of it for a second, we still have a problem. We have a problem of people blindly believing authorities and what I call scientism. And
okay, he drones on and on. I'm going to skip to the spot where Will starts to address his long list of nothing burgers except that.
We all love a bit of Witsit. Come on.
I already been through this too many times.
I know. Snap. That's why I knew where it was.
He'll get there. He just drones on.
I tried to remember them all in my mind. So the first thing I'll respond to, and I know you're not saying this, but if people out there don't like the word experiment in the final experiment, I have a new thing I'm telling people, which is this: just change it to the final expedition.
There you go.
Well, just so for Creaky, he's basically admitting that using the word experiment when it isn't needs addressing, and he subsequently changed it to the final expedition. So that would mean that it's not fraud when called an expedition, but given that it's the final experiment and that's how it's been peddled, that is absolutely why I've called him out as being a fraud, because it isn't. Just so we're clear, he is a fraud. He is still now calling it an experiment even after this concession.
I still think it's a fraud. Now the fraud is on the word final, because these guys go there every single Antarctic summer, never advertising at midnight sun. They do that in the north, yeah? So unfortunately, I think final was a bit fraudulent as well, because it's not the final expedition these guys are going to do unless they wind up their company after this. So it's just the expedition. So it's TE is what it should just be.
Okay.
The expedition. Then it's not fraudulent.
Hold on. Let's close this point out. So this video was streamed 7 days ago on August 22nd, where he changed the final experiment to the final expedition. Your Honor, I have additional evidence that I will show now. This video is from 22 hours ago, August 29th, 2024. Will Duffy again.
So this will not come as a shock to many of you based on all the comments I received after announcing that someone offered to pay for Nathan Oakley to join us in Antarctica this December. But he refuses to accept this incredibly generous offer for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and more importantly, has turned down the chance to be one of the first flat earthers in history to visit Antarctica. And you won't believe the reason he gave.
So
I'm trying to get to a point.
You must be absolutely crazy to turn down the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to maybe see the sun or maybe not see the sun. Crazy.
Thanks.
For declining a free trip to Antarctica. It almost surpasses Flat Earth Dave in terms of ridiculousness. As a reminder, David White.
You're not getting the picture, are you?
No, I don't think I know what you're driving at, QE. Hold on, Brian.
Nathan.
Hold on.
I'm waiting. I know what you're getting at. You mean it's still called the final experiment right now? Yes.
Just shut up. I'm trying to get the experiment part. We can always go back and start it over again.
But I was waiting for him to say the word experiment.
Shut the fuck up.
It's not my fault. He said 10 other stupid things that need comment on before we've got there.
Turned down a free trip to Antarctica because he said my friends were demons, and then he also called me a demon. Now, I've done my homework on Nathan Oakley. Surprise, surprise. And I've discovered some things that are going to be pretty shocking to most of you. Things that strongly imply he's not being completely forthright with his audience, especially regarding Antarctica and the 24-hour sun. Now, his followers have frequented my comments section and my email inbox, and they've tried to argue that Nathan doesn't take a position on things, so therefore I can't put him in the category of flat earthers who take a firm stance that there is no 24-hour sun in Antarctica. Before I show you that he absolutely does take a firm stance on this issue, it would be remiss of me to not point out that this seems to be a tactic of some flat earthers to not take a position on things so as to not have to defend anything. This is incredibly anti-scientific, as the heart of science is making claims and predictions and then testing them. And that's exactly what the final experiment is.
Oh, thank you. There it is. The prosecution rests, Judge.
Will Duffy is an outright fraud.
Yep. Went back to calling it the final experiment again. That's what was my point. Now, we can go back and review this one. That's no problem. You got me?
No, I think we're done. The guy's committing fraud. He's been addressed by Witsit with the fact he's committing fraud, and he said, okay, if you don't like the word I commit fraud with, I'll call it the final expedition. Now we're back to saying the scientific validity with this fraud. He's more egregious now than he was previously.
with the final experiment. He mentioned it again.
And then testing them.
Not just that.
And that's exactly what the final experiment is.
There you go. Final experiment again. Go ahead, Adam.
Can we go back a little bit? Because I think he's now describing an experiment with a little bit more detail. Just go back. Because I think he's doubling down on some detail of what an experiment would be. We're going to test it. And which is, like I say, a little bit more egregious after having admitted that it's not.
Yeah, I let that one go because I thought we were going to review this one too. I was just fishing for the final experiment, and I know he actually said it. So I got you. Let's see if it starts here.
And my email inbox.
What?
It was literally the sentence before. Before he affirms it, he actually gives a half-assed description of an experiment.
Imply he's not being completely forthright with his audience, especially regarding Antarctica and the 24-hour sun. Now, his followers have frequented my comment section and my email inbox, and they've tried to argue that Nathan doesn't take a position on things, so therefore I can't put him in the category of flat earthers who take a firm stance that there is no 24-hour sun in Antarctica. Before I show you that he absolutely does take a firm stance on this issue, it would be remiss of me to not point out that this seems to be a tactic of some flat earthers to not take a position on things so as to not have to defend anything. This is incredibly anti-scientific.
Uh-oh, scientific. Really? What's natural science?
As the heart of science.
The heart of science is hypothesis testing.
QE, just play the bit Adam wants to hear.
Is making claims and predictions and then testing them. And that's exactly what the final
See, this is double speak. This is misdirection, isn't it, to the audience? Because this is what they do. They spit half truths. Something that, if you just take it on its own, it's true. But put in with all this other garble,
it's a cowbell, Adam.
It's again an implication that this observation is an experiment. Is what he's trying to do by actually describing part of the purpose of experiment, which is true. So you hear the truths, and he is a deceiver, isn't he? Because it's very deceitful, the language and his sentence construction. It's notable, Pastor Duffy, your deception, sir.
He's reading it.
Yes, he is, but he's reading horse shit. So before I get interrupted again, Nathan, I will evaluate this because it crossed my desk, if you don't mind.
Scientific. As the heart of science.
As the heart of science is the scientific method, the clean of it being hypothesis testing, which is hypothesis. It's a prediction.
Is making claims and predictions.
No. You need hypothesis. A scientific hypothesis is a prediction. So you would need to have a hypothesis there. Would you mind giving that to us?
And then testing them.
Testing them. Yeah, that's outstanding. So what's the hypothesis here for your fraudulent experiment?
And that's exactly what the final experiment is.
Oh, really? So we're going to need the hypothesis then.
If we see a sun.
No. Stop. I've asked him for the hypothesis. Specifically, personally. I've asked him and he has not given it me. And I've subsequently called him a fraud because he can't give me an independent and dependent variable as specifically asked of by me when he's come to my comment section. He personally has been asked for this and can't give it. He is a fraud. You trying to feign one on his behalf is something that the other commenters have done.
I know where's Wally did it on his behalf.
Yeah, where's Wally did it on his behalf? Exactly.
And therein lies that's why you are a fraud, sir, because that's what you are asked to provide. just a valid hypothesis. Because if it was going to be an experiment, that's what you're going to test, isn't it? Reasonable. Yep. And if you can't, then actually the accusation of fraud stands. And as QE's demonstrated, are you going back on your recognition that it was an experiment and you're now doubling down? That is fraud. And you're never going to end up in a court of law, but we'll ask you again to state your hypothesis. Because that's kind of the point of what you're going to do, isn't it?
And when he does, if he does, I'll be there waiting to point out that, as I've already stated, it's an affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy, not a plausible, validatable hypothesis to be actualised by an experiment that you haven't got. You are a fraud.
What's noticeable is what he's spent a lot of time doing and what they are doing, which is trying to get somebody from this side to agree that there's some validity to this observation that may or may not happen. Yeah, that shows how weak. Yeah, because there's nobody on the trip, is there? So you're now trying to pimp out Nathan and use his infamy, yeah, to your benefit in your fraud. Might be.
Well, all publicity is good publicity.
I have something to show in a minute.
What, right?
I have something to show. I need to share my screen to show it.
Yeah, your screen.
Yeah, 1 second now. I'm going to show something now. 1 second. Show now.
Nathan, you might want to attack hard and fast this Antarctica stuff. So get your name, because if it does go mainstream, your name will be attached to it as a dissenter. You know, but just get your name out there. It's one way of doing it.
Are you seeing my screen? No.
Seeing a load of video feedback. You're causing.
Yeah, I'd have to.
We saw your time and date just came up a second ago, but then it went.
Yeah, I was looking for. Hang on, I'll try. Right. Entire screen.
Just while you're doing that, Brian, to address that's what I'm saying. That's what they're desperate for, is to get some grasp on our validity. Yeah. So they want to get Nathan involved. That's what they're desperate for. It's what Ruthie's now begging me about. Yeah. To try and get us guys that have validity to add our validity. Because there is none, is there? Clearly, everybody's laughing at them. That's the point. Hence why they're over here begging to have a real flat earther get on board. Even Wixit took the idea of an experiment apart. Not well enough, much too polite to agree to disagree. Yeah, and point out it has no purpose unless they can actually outline. And that's all we're asking. Why are you going? You know? But that's what they're desperate for, is some kind of authority, because it's clear they've developed none in the time that they've been pimping this grift. Yeah, nobody's on board. Everybody recognizes it's an affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy. Yeah, based on an antipodal assumption. Whether we do it, we all will not see this bloody thing. Who cares? I kind of care. Got a mild interest. It's odd that I've never seen it before.
Well, you got to think how they want to present it. So one way they could present it is to say that they've dealt with Nathan Oakley back in September. He wouldn't come, so we don't have to really refer to him during the show and during the documentary we're going to make. Whereas if you try and stay as relevant as possible and keep tagging him along, hopefully you'll get more of a shout during the documentary, even if you're not there. I don't, you see what I'm saying?
Nobody's interested in their documentary. Yeah, because what will it prove? The last thing you want to be involved is anything to do with these liars and deceivers. Yeah, all that will happen is they will lie and deceive and misrepresent you.
They're going to do that anyway.
Right, so then don't be involved in the slightest. Then they can only do it by a proxy, not the way they stitch Bob up.
Let me just show you this video. Just want to point something out here.
Imagine you see Nathan in a woolly hat. going, oh, there's the sun.
Hold on, Adam, just one sec. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, just give me a minute. This is a video from a guy called Matty K. Jordan. This guy has posted, I think, 24-hour claim sun videos. He's going to be hanging around Antarctica, it seems, all the time, right? So this is just a video of the full moon in Antarctica. It's right, full moon in Antarctica. It was published the 4th of April, 2024. I'll deal with that in a minute. Just I'll turn off the sound. I don't need the sound. How do I turn off the sound here? I'll just play. Sorry, I heard it. Right. Here he is. He's just showing full moon through his phone, and then he's going to switch it. Now, take note that there's light on the front of these things here. So full moon, and that's a total full moon. 100% full moon. Right. I zoomed in on it. Right. That's 100% full moon. Right. I'm going to pause that. I'm going to see if I can go to... right, I have to change to a different, present something else, change to, right, share. These are the full moon times for January, right, in 2024 in Antarctica, right. For January, it says minus 25 degrees altitude, which means the full moon is supposed to be on the day of the 26th of January, which is the full moon from the South Pole, which is the Amazon Scott base. It's supposed to reach minus 24, 23, 22. It's always claimed to be over minus 20 degrees below the horizon. In February 2024, it's claimed to be minus 12, 13, 14, minus 10, always minus. That means it's claimed to be below the horizon, right? In February 2024. In March 2024, it's claimed to be minus 4 degrees, minus 2 degrees, minus 1 degrees. So it's not up above the horizon, right? For any of these times, right? I just go, I didn't share for February and March. I can just show you there if you want now. So February, go down, right? As you can see, minus 13, minus 12, minus 10 degrees, minus 9 degrees below the horizon all day, full moon, right? And I'm just going to show this will make sense in a minute, March, just for brevity, if that's the right word. Minus 4 degrees, minus 2 degrees, 0 degrees, minus 1 degrees. So it's all down below the horizon, it's claimed to be, right? Now, I'm just going to switch again. Sorry. So switch again to present something else. Back to this video. Right. Now, I'm going back to that Antarctica video, and I'm going to go back here a bit. Look at the height of that moon. Right. It's definitely a lot of degrees. You could be talking 15 degrees above, 10, 15 degrees above the horizon. Now, that means that video had to be taken and it's daylight there, right? So they had to be taken during the Antarctic summer. So that's a full moon in the daytime in the Antarctic summer, well above the horizon, which is not, and it was published on April the 4th. So he would have had to get it. Maybe he went back into December, I don't know. But the point is, there's light on the front. That's light on the front of these, right? And there's a full moon. So this is a full moon in the daytime. That's not incongruent. That's not congruent. He doesn't give the date of the full moon, but it's not congruent with what they're claiming on time and date. If I go to 1 second now, I'm just going to share again, present something else. Back to this, right? Let me go back to here, right? I'm going to go to 2023 and December. Oh, right. December 2023, minus 29 degrees. Let's try November, right? November, go.
You're not sharing it.
I'm not sharing. I'm sharing the wrong. I have too many bloody things open. Give me a second. This is important.
No one else told you that because they're not looking at it.
Yeah. You see,
I am looking at it. I'm just not listening.
February 2024. Sorry, 1 second. Share something else.
I'm looking at it. I'm just not listening. So what you said.
Where are we?
I thought that was a great line too. Thanks.
1 second. No, just give me a second.
Which is what Brian's doing that. Can we just discuss how important I am for a few moments?
No, Nathan, no. Oh, no, this is wrong as well. Oh, this is annoying me. Give me a second. Because I have too many tabs. I can't. I tried sharing it the other way where I could share my whole screen. It won't allow me to do it.
I was looking. I just wasn't listening.
Right, here we go. I think this is it. I think this is it. I think that's it, yeah. So you should be seeing it now. Yeah? You should be seeing something now, yeah? Moving around on the full
Yeah. Yeah,
well,
we got it. Go.
Okay, hang on. So that's November, right, in 2023. I've showed you January, February, and March in 2024. And in November, right, if the right thing will go down, it's claimed to be minus 24, 25 degrees below the horizon, right? And now we'll just go to December. That's the only month it could be because they have daylight there, right, according to their paradigm. Into December 27th, minus 29 degrees below the horizon all day, full moon, right? So if I'm just going to go back one more time and something else. Now, that video shows a full moon that is obviously daytime and is obviously well above the horizon. That, what I just showed, that completely goes against everything the time and date just said, completely against it. And it's definitely during a time when there is daylight. There's a full moon in the daylight that debunks what time and date is saying, and it's definitely during daylight in Antarctica.
Cool.
Now, I'm going to play that video. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. Right, I'm going to play that video I posted in earlier, and I'll show you something. Listen to this for just 20 seconds. Right, let me go into board buster a sec. Right, just give me one moment to get rid of ads here. Skip ads. Now, just listen for 20 seconds.
Shackleton began hiring men. The story that he placed an advertisement in a London newspaper reading, "Men wanted for hazardous journey, low wages, bitter cold, long hours of complete darkness, safe return doubtful, honor and recognition in event of success," is...
That was during the Antarctic summer. What the expedition he was trying to get people there for was during the Antarctic summer, or this southern summer, which would be in line with the Gleason's projection, where Gleason claims there was no daylight past the 80th degree parallel, even on the 21st of December. And they were going past the 80th degree. Shackleton.
Cool.
Work that one out.
Right, I'm going to round out soon. Is there anything else on this Creaky / what's his name, Duffy, and thanks for the extra info, Brian, on the moon and Shackleton?
Is there anything else? That's Shackleton just telling you there's complete darkness.
Well, no, he's making an ad. No. You're going to make me do this now. You really want me to rip this up?
I understand this anecdotal, but it's Shackleton. It's from his letter. It's from what he put out as an advertisement trying to get people.
Yeah, I didn't say anecdotal, I said an advertisement. So you can sometimes play fast and loose. You can excuse certain marketing aspects. He's trying to downplay it in the advert to gain intrigue. So there's a certain marketing aspect to it that you can say, well, no, he's playing fast and loose because of blah, blah, blah. In other words, there's plenty of cracks in this. But up until you were like, no, this is really juicy. Well, no, because it's an advert, it suddenly has certain bullshittery that's acceptable around it, unfortunately.
You're kind of not. That's just what he said. That was his. That's what Shackleton said. Why would he say complete darkness when when he's supposed to be going there all through the Antarctic summer, which would be dangerous.
Well, okay, you asked. So he also said there might not be any return, which means if they're
because of the dangers.
Yeah, so if they get stranded there, then they could be in darkness. So he's playing fast and loose, isn't he?
Not the expedition was all during the Antarctic summer. No return means you didn't return before the summer ended. Means you don't return. It's not that you're stuck in darkness. You just don't return. Full stop. You die.
You're saying return unlikely.
You're trying to read his mind.
I'm not. No, you're doing that. You're projecting. You're doing that. No, stop. Just let me have my piece. You're doing that because I'm saying his words are you might not return unlikely, and there might be full darkness, right? That's what the advert consists of in full context. That's what he actually says. So therefore, without spin, that means if taken literally, when there's no return, there could be lots of darkness. That's because that's what it says. But you're reading between those lines and saying, no, this expedition is planned for XYZ dates. Therefore, in this advertising statement...
of supply.
Let me play it again.
For Shackleton and...
Right. I want to hear the full advert again. And I think just before I comment.
Yeah. Just give me a moment.
His party when they crossed Antarctica from the Weddell Sea to the Ross Sea. This arranged, Shackleton began hiring men. The story that he placed an advertisement in a London newspaper reading, "Men wanted for hazardous journey, low wages, bitter cold, long hours of complete darkness, safe return doubtful, honor and recognition in event of success," is probably an invention, but a fitting one. Shackleton's hiring policies queried one's psychology as much as their qualifications. When he interviewed the expedition's physicist, Reginald James, Shackleton's first question...
Yeah. Is that enough, Adam?
Yeah. It's certainly not enough in the hours of darkness to imply that means he thought it was going to be dark at the peak of it.
You get closer to your mic. I can't quite hear you, Adam.
The likelihood is that the journey would involve times getting there in readiness to go further in his journey at the points of light. You can argue that that's just a little bit of a descriptor of the journey. It's not specific enough to the peak of the journey, which would obviously, as you've recognised, be timed to their summer. But he doesn't tie the darkness to that specific bit. So what he is saying, and what the guy's alluding to there is, it's a selling shit. I'm not underselling this. You've got to have balls, man. Can you go through these things? I'm only after the best, the bravest of the brave. That's what he's alluding to here. That he's after some funky men, isn't he? That kind of indestructibles. That's what he's selling here. And there's no valor in it. You might never be famous for it. You know what I mean? But I need men.
Well, focus. Yeah. Go back and play it again.
Oh, well, 1 second now. Because the dates of the expedition are given as well. This is the problem. Then the dates are in the Antarctic summer. And he has already been in the Antarctica. 1 second. He's already been there in the past. Before this. I'll play it again.
Yeah.
1 second. Let me go back. Okay, I just play it from there.
Sea to the Ross Sea. This arranged, Shackleton began hiring men. The story that he placed an advertisement in a London newspaper reading, "Men wanted for hazardous journey, low wages, bitter cold, long hours of complete darkness, safe return doubtful, honor and recognition."
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Goodness, he should have been more specific there, but I see where you're headed with this.
Yeah, because of the dates given.
It's not specific enough.
It's not specific, no. And I went through this with Mitchell. But the dates he had already been there, and the dates given were during the Antarctic summer. And my point to Mitchell was that it matches exactly what Gleason states on his projection. That they were going south of 80 degrees during all of the time that they were all of the time that they were going to be in Antarctica. they were going to be south of 80 degrees. And according to Gleason's projection, there was no sunlight even on the 24th of December past 80 degrees south.
Really? Does it state that on the Gleason?
It does, yeah.
Adam, you got that?
Before he challenges him on his... Hold on.
Totally
You
agree
had
with
a
that.
really good win, Brian, like 2 weeks ago when you pointed out the NASA citation that said it doesn't tally. But you should have just taken that win and walked away.
Which one is that? Which one?
So here's the actual ad.
Men wanted for hazardous journey, small wages, bitter cold, long months of complete darkness, constant danger, safe return, doubtful, honour and recognition in case of success. Ernest Shackleton.
I understand Brian's point, and irrespective, in those days, there's going to be periods of darkness because it's going to take months to travel there. And I would imagine after a long journey from Britain all the way to somewhere like the Ushuaia, southern Argentina, you're probably going to want to get there in plenty of time to rest up and resupply and then go from there. And during those times, that's when you'd be traveling in our summertime. So by the time you reach the southern seas, there will be parts of darkness as you ready for this arrival of summer to make your journey in what he's advertising for.
Okay. But I've got to draw a stop to this. So please.
What I'm making is there's not enough detail to link the complete darkness to the claim that it's congruent with.
It is if you look at the dates they give.
Nearly finished, Brian. Nearly finished. Yeah, because in terms of the AE map or projection that we've got from Gleason, that I would concur, it doesn't predict that, but there's not enough in that to link the two, is my point. Now, I kind of agree with the point, and in a journey, that's how you'd say it, because if you were Shackleton, believing in Gleason, maybe you've been there before, maybe that's why you'd write. There'll be long months of complete darkness past this. It doesn't say past this parallel, you see. He just says there'll be, and on a, either way, there's going to be on a ball these long months of complete darkness. So to me, it's not, and it's not. It's too tenuous to link. There you go.
Well,
can I just please? I really have to get in here, Brian. I'm really sorry. It'll only take a second. Regardless of if it did or didn't, it's back to this. It doesn't affirm the antipodal assumption that's needed in this argument that we're critiquing. So this ultimately does become a mute point, doesn't it?
Yes, I know, right? Because we have Ernest Shackleton at the dates given for this, because I checked it out with Mitchell. The dates given for this expedition are during the Antarctic summer. That means there is daylight, at least for part of the day. And while they were in Antarctica, it should be 20, according to the paradigm, the globe paradigm, it should be 24 hours for 3 months of it. Now, I checked out the dates, and there should be daylight. He's saying complete months of complete darkness. He'd have to be going within that paradigm in the complete opposite end of the year.
Yeah, we agree.
Yeah, but I don't think at those particular times of the year, you can't have, according to their paradigm, complete darkness.
We agree.
You can only have complete brightness.
Yeah, we're all in agreement here.
I don't know if we are.
Yeah, what is wrong with him?
I think you're fobbing me off. To try
I'm
and
not fobbing you off.
Right.
Your point, when I first agreed with it, I was like, yeah, this is valid. But then when you leaned on it just that little bit too much, you've now met everybody's scrutiny. That's your bad, not mine. It doesn't mean your point and the overarching conditions that you're saying must be met aren't true. We still agree with all of them.
My point being is that we have Shackleton stating something for an expedition that's supposed to be in 24-hour sunlight, according to the current paradigm, and he's talking about complete months of complete darkness.
You're assuming we haven't listened to you now. We get it.
Okay, end the call. I know you want to. Just give up. I give up.
Now, no, see, that was a wet ending for me. On the bit that intrigued me was what he presented. You need to get the date off this guy for that photo, because moon positions and incongruence with time and date. Now that's something, especially something that an image like that. You need a date and time for that.
Yep, that's what I was thinking.
I'd have to ask him for the date and time of that, because it doesn't fit time and date at all.
But I did get your point. Hence why I made the analogy that the long months of complete darkness could be the southern our summer in the south, yeah, in readiness for the summer arriving. And in those days, you would take that time. You can't just jump on a jumbo jet and fly over there in 12 or 15 hours.
No, but their whole expedition was during the southern summer. So there couldn't be long months of complete. You couldn't. That was the point. That was why I played it, and that's what was my point with Mitchell. And Mitchell checked it, and he agreed with me at that time of year.
So my point is, the long months of complete darkness could be the bits getting over there. Yeah.
No, not if you look at the expedition times. That was the point. You look at the expedition times, and it can't be according to the paradigm. That is the whole point.
I'll say it again and hopefully get to finish it. The long months could be the bit of complete darkness in preparation for the expedition times. So knowing that you need to get over there, restock, resupply, and in that time, that's when you're going to hit the long months of complete darkness before you go on the stated times of mission, where hopefully there's going to be some periods of daylight.
Where is the long months of complete darkness you're talking about? What are they?
To arrive there, leaving our summer with favourable trade winds and get there. Now you're going to arrive there in their winter, so there'll be the long months of summer.
But that's the point I'm trying to make to you. It's wrong. When you look at the expedition date, the time that they are leaving and the time they're supposed to be coming back, it doesn't fit that. That's my point.
And my only point is, lovely, but you've got to make it's too tenuous a link, because you can interpret it in many ways. I'm only playing an advocate role in this, but it's because there's not enough to link it properly. It's only by assumption you can link the two. Now, at best, you can then assume that he believed in terms of a Gleason map what the daylight hours would be. Yeah.
Well, he had been there in the past. That was my point to Mitchell. That wasn't his first expedition to there at that time of year. At that exact Antarctic summertime, he had been there in the past.
Now,
and he was going there at the same time of year. Go on.
That's a stronger point then, not linking that bit. That he's got. If he'd have previous testimony and you've got that testimony, that's a stronger point. Than trying to say that the long months of complete darkness is his testimony about what it's like there certain times, or even in summer. Yeah, that's what you're after, and that's what this is. That's why I say it's tenuous. I can't definitely say that there's long months of complete darkness even in the summer in the south if you go past the 80th parallel, which is what you're implying, or what?
Yeah, because that was my point. Even this is like even Mitchell agreed that at that time of year, and he had been in Antarctica in the past at that time of year. At that time of year, there's claimed to be 24 hours sun, or at least half a day of sun going into 24. So the sunlight is increasing from day to day. There was no complete darkness at that time of year within the current paradigm's claim. Within the current claim, there was no complete darkness. There's only complete brightness. And he had been there at that exact time of year in the past. And the trips were the same. They took the trips at the same times of the year every time they went, because that was the best time to go at the end of our summer, going into our autumn, going into their start of their summer, basically, right? The southern summer, because of the trip, the distance. And he had been there in the past, and he's advertising that there's going to be complete months of complete darkness.
See, now when you analyse it as well, you've then got to listen to it all. Right? Is all of it a lie? Hazardous journey, small wages, bitter cold, long months of complete darkness. These are all things. Constant danger. You can guarantee that, can you? Yeah. Safe return doubtful. You're guaranteeing that, are you? Honor and recognition in case of success. Listen to it. It's all very tongue-in-cheek. Now, can I not put the long months of complete darkness? Might be little periods, yeah? But is that an exaggeration? Like the rest of it clearly is as well.
Hold on, I've just looked this up on Google, and Ernest Shackleton in this instance is actually an alternative name for a dominatrix mistress, and this is just a sex worker's ad.
Yeah, that's what you get after your hard work.
Like I said, Brad, the previous testimony, I think, is probably more powerful from somebody who's been there. And
Why are you laughing? Isn't it obvious? Men wanted for a hazardous journey. You should say it all.
I got something for you on Ballbusters when you get a chance.
Okay.
You know, if you get the rest of this page, this is the S&M section, right?
Read the next line. Neat appearing young men of pleasing personality. Oh, I can't read the rest.
I was watching. I wasn't listening.
What the hell? What is going on here? Dark Order. My God, that's horrendous. Where does he go? That is some jumbled heap of nonsense.
You guys check that out.
I'll read it out. Like, A, if the Earth is a globe, A, if the Earth is a globe, P, then we will observe a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, Q. We do not observe a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, not Q, therefore the Earth is not a globe, therefore not P. B, if the Earth is flat, P, then we will observe twilight in Antarctica, Q. We do not observe twilight in Antarctica, not Q, therefore the Earth is not flat, therefore not P. Two perfectly valid arguments Morris told us.
No, that's two affirming the consequent fallacies set up in false dichotomy to mask the begging the question of the globe bit in the first instance. Well done, dumbos.